China is experiencing another drug shortage as a sudden spike in flu cases hits, just as the latest wave of COVID appears to be slowing down. A resident in Hebei claims that there was a military jet crash in the province. However, there has been no report from state-run media about the accident. A recent operation conducted in local Chinese provinces has found thousands of enterprises being inactive for a long time. Is this an indication of a national-scale economic downturn? As February 24th marks the first anniversary of the Russia-Ukraine war, the Chinese Foreign Ministry announced China's stance on the political solution to the Ukraine crisis. The announcement is concluded in 12 points, which NATO thinks don't have much credibility. China is experiencing another drug shortage as a sudden spike in flu cases hits, just as the latest wave of COVID appears to be slowing down. The Chinese Center for Disease Control and Prevention on February 25th reported that influenza cases have surged to 14.3% from just 3.4% in the week ending February 19th. The disease is overpowering COVID-19 regarding the number of positive patients, as the coronavirus has waned since its December peak. According to the health edition of state media People's Daily, inquiries on flu medication have surged dramatically on mainland search engine Baidu. On February 24th alone, the number of searches rose to 69,417. Chinese people were also surfing the internet for antiviral oseltamivir, which is often referred to as Tamiflu. Bloomberg News reported that supplies for this medication have been running low in pharmacies and online suppliers across the country recently. Several retailers are selling out of floor stock, and buyers have to wait days for new shipments. One pharmacy in Beijing told the Red Star Capital Bureau that they tend not to have too many supplies of the antiviral, as flu is only seasonal. At the time of the interview, they had run out of oseltamivir and were waiting for restocking. On Ali Health Pharmacy, a retailer noted that stocks for Tamiflu are limited, and only one packet is permitted for each account. The current flu flare-up is still insignificant compared to China's latest COVID surge, which reached over 60% during the last week of December. Still, student classes in some parts of China have been suspended for some days, as norovirus and chickenpox were also spreading. According to Chinese media, on February 25th, a resident from Tinhuangdao City, Hebei Province, posted on Weibo, claiming to have seen a low-altitude plane flying over the Tinhuangdao urban area. It then made a very loud noise, and its tail sprayed black smoke. However, the official Chinese media did not carry any reports regarding this incident. A video posted by a netizen showed at noon on February 25th, black smoke billowed from the Tinhuangdao City area. It was rumored that a Chinese military fighter jet had crashed. Some Tinhuangdao netizens have confirmed the above information to be true. Chinese media quoted netizens' comments as follows: "The jet was flying very low. Its tail was spewing out black smoke, looking scary. This afternoon, while at the Maoyue intersection, I saw a jet flying very low, as high as a 40-story building. Then it made a loud noise, and its black smoke came out from west to east. Everyone at the intersection could see it." Someone replied, "That's right. Were you also at the Maoyue intersection? I feel like it was flying over my head." Another said, "Actually, I saw it at noon. There was black smoke rising from a distance, but I just thought it was trying to make an emergency landing." Shanhaiguan Airport is located in Shanhaiguan District, Tinhuangdao City, Hebei Province. This is a military airport belonging to the PLA Northern Theater Command's Naval Air Force. This facility is mainly used for naval aviation training in the Northern Theater Command. As a result, Tinhuangdao residents often complain that Chinese fighter jets fly at a low altitude in urban areas, causing a lot of noise and affecting people's lunch breaks.
In the first 2 months of this year, many provinces and cities in China cleaned up businesses suspected of having been inactive for a long time. Businesses that don't submit activity reports to the authorities for a set period are said to have ceased operations. Owners of these businesses are put on a blacklist and are banned from working as managers at other operating businesses. The business toll on the blacklist shows that China's economy has suffered a heavy blow 3 years after the Chinese Communist Party (CCP) imposed a zero-COVID policy. According to Daji Yuan, in Nanyang City, Henan Province alone, 6,171 businesses failed to submit to authorities the operation report for 2021 and 2022. The figure in Tianfu District, Sichuan Province, is 2,079. In Shuangliu District, Chengdu City, Sichuan Province, is 787. The situation is similar in Zhejiang Province. For example, in the Lin District of Hangzhou, 662 businesses have been closed for a long time. This number in Yuxing City is 1,455. In Jinan City of Shandong Province, as of February 17th, the authorities revoked the operating license of 2,043 businesses. Xiangzhou District, Zhuhai City, Guangdong Province also had 1,748 businesses that ceased operations for a long time. In other localities, the number of businesses that have stopped operating for a long time in just one small administrative unit has reached thousands. Bankruptcy businesses began to explode after CCP imposed lockdowns in early 2020. Daji Yuan cited Ban Yu Tan reporting that, as of November 2020, 3.01 million private businesses stopped operating. As Chinese media reported, February 24th marks the first anniversary of the Russia-Ukraine war. The Chinese Foreign Ministry published 12 points on China's stance on the political solution to the Ukraine crisis. Although China called on Russia and Ukraine to cease fire, end the war, and start peace negotiations, it did not condemn Russia. Still, it called for an end to the unilateral sanctions against Russia. Experts point out China is the loser in this war because Russia has made China face a more difficult strategic environment while bringing international attention to Taiwan and increasing suspicions about the Chinese Communist Party, CCP. The CCP proposes 12 points. The NATO Secretary General questions the low credibility. The 12 points mentioned in China's stance on the political solution of the Ukraine crisis include the following. Number 1, respecting the sovereignty of all countries. Number 2, abandoning the Cold War mentality. Number 3, ceasing fire and ending wars. Number 4, initiating peace negotiations. Number 5, resolving humanitarian crises. Number 6, protecting civilians and war prisoners. Number 7, maintaining the safety of nuclear power plants. Number 8, reducing strategic risks. Number 9, ensuring food exports. Number 10, ending unilateral sanctions. Number 11, ensuring the stability of industrial supply chains. Number 12, promoting post-war reconstruction. In the third point, the Chinese Foreign Ministry advocates, conflicts and wars have no winners. Every party should maintain rationality and restraint, do not add fuel to the fire, do not aggravate conflicts, avoid letting the Ukraine crisis worsen or even get out of control, support Russia and Ukraine to meet and resume direct dialogue as soon as possible, gradually diffuse the situation, finally achieve the comprehensive ceasefire. China also stated that dialogue and negotiation are the only possible ways to resolve the Ukraine crisis, and to facilitate and provide the foundation for the negotiation resumption, China is ready to continue playing a constructive role in this regard. However, the outside world noticed the document contained no words condemning Russia. In relevant context, Russia is not explicitly mentioned. This sentence is an example, opposing any country that develops and uses chemical weapons in any case. On the other hand, China also called for the cessation of unilateral sanctions. It said it would not solve the problem, but create new problems instead. According to Politico, the Secretary General of NATO, Jens Stoltenberg, said at a press conference in Estonia that the points and official comments of China don't have much credibility, and they have not been able to condemn the illegal invasion of Ukraine, and even signed an agreement on the eve of the invasion, an unlimited partnership agreement with Russia. Lin Zhengyi, the Ukraine war directly affects the CCP. According to RFA, Lin Zhengyi, former vice president of Taiwan's China Affairs Council and a researcher at the Academia Sinica, said that although Xi Jinping limited his support for Putin's war, he did not keep a distance from Russia. As a result, China-Russia economic relations have consolidated and Russian crude oil exports to China are unchallenged. Regarding economic security, Russia may need to rely more on China. After the Russia-Ukraine war began, China became a direct threat to the U.S. because Xi Jinping's long-term strategic goal of becoming the world's leading power by 2049 has raised international alarm. Lin Zhengyi explained, what Beijing is most concerned about is the international economic sanctions against Russia after its aggressive actions, which may be what could happen if China invades Taiwan. He He said for Beijing, regardless of the outcome of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, it will absolutely not give up the option of using force against Taiwan. Lin elaborated that if Ukraine is defeated and Putin rebuilds his army, he will continue to maintain aggression against NATO, indirectly encouraging China to take reckless actions against Taiwan. On the contrary, if Russia fails, it will have a more significant influence on China's use of force to deter Taiwan. In other words, the U.S. needs to be prepared militarily in case Taiwan has problems. Blinken, Taiwan Strait crisis is not China's internal problem. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken accepted an exclusive online interview with Jeffrey Goldberg, editor-in-chief of The Atlantic magazine, on February 23rd. According to the content disclosed by the State Department, when asked whether the re-invasion of Ukraine last year would increase or decrease China's actions on Taiwan, Blinken said that this was one of the reasons why foreign countries outside Europe, like Japan, South Korea, and others, have jointly supported Ukraine. Because if aggression is allowed to go unpunished, it could open Pandora's box, causing potential invaders to think they can attack and get away with it. Blinken emphasized that many countries not only jointly support Ukraine, but also support the sanctions and export control measures imposed on Russia that cause much damage to the country. He believed this is something China must consider for its future. It must take into account the huge costs that Russia has incurred. He also reminded us why the world is paying so much attention to the Taiwan Strait crisis. Because this is not the internal affairs based on China's sovereignty, as the CCP claims, but a matter of global concern. Every day, 50% of the world's commercial traffic passes through the Taiwan Strait. Most semiconductors, from smartphones to dishwashers to cars, are made in Taiwan. If a crisis occurs due to China's invasion of Taiwan, it will have disastrous consequences for the world economy and countries worldwide. Since Russia invaded Ukraine, it helped Taiwan raise its visibility. The CCP is a loser. VOA quoted Gilbert Rosman, a scholar of China-Russia affairs at Princeton University, saying on February 24th that Russia's invasion of Ukraine has created a more complex strategic environment for the CCP. At the same time, it focused attention on Taiwan and heightened suspicions about the CCP. Ali Wine, a senior policy analyst at Eurasia Group, said with Beijing's chilling response to Russia's aggression, China's strategic outlook has deteriorated. He stated publicly, "Today's Ukraine is not Taiwan's tomorrow." Looking back on February 4th, 2022, China and Russia issued a joint statement declaring they have no cutoff point for friendship and no forbidden zone for cooperation. Pei Minxin, a professor at Claremont McKenna University, wrote on February 19th that what was seen as Xi Jinping's diplomatic masterpiece at the time became more and more like a failed bet. In addition, Robert Manning, a senior research fellow at the Stimson Center, who used to work in the U.S. State Department's Office of Policy Planning, also assumed what the CCP gains from the Russia-Ukraine war is not as much as it loses.